I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies.
Welcome to Cookies, the world's most influential basketball podcast. Andrew, I know you are raring to go this episode. We've got to talk about the top 30 list, the top 30 defenders list. The internet is going wild. The cries of dissension echo throughout the digital corridors. But first, we're going to talk about some other things. How have you been getting around the city these days, Andrew?
So I had a few meetings in Manhattan about this top 30 list. And I was like, oh, I got to go record Cookies. I can't take the subway or bus. I got to take an Uber. I already spent half my daily Uber budget getting back to the Cookies lab. And that was a big $125. And that's only halfway. I know this is the non-basketball segment of the pod, and a player that shall not be named, but the acronym of his name is MPJ.
Okay, so you're not naming Michael Porter Jr.
No. Okay. I'm not talking about Michael Porter Jr. per se, but he did say he spends $250 on Ubers a day, and it threw Twitter into a tizzy.
Did anyone try to do the Michael Porter Jr. math and say, here's why this makes sense?
I did in my head, and it takes 2 seconds. Of course you can spend $250 a day if you're going to fashion shows, maybe during that week in which he said it. If you're going from the practice facility in Industry City to Barclays, if you're just going to the club, if you're going to dinner at La Linguinerie, it's expensive. Sometimes a ride that seems simple on the A train will run you $70. And he's almost a 7-foot guy, 6'10". He's famous. He doesn't want to deal with Cookies Hoops enthusiasts on the F train. He wants his privacy with his dudes. So he just scoots around. I think he's a king for not getting a private car service, which can run $500 to $1,500 a day. We see a lot of famous people do this.
All right, so I'm looking it up right now. To get from North Brooklyn to basically the Nets facility, not saying he lives around here, but just for example, from here to the Nets facility right now would cost you $57 before tip. And assuming he's giving standard tips on that, that's getting you like $70 basically.
Oh, what are you doing? Yeah.
One trip from. So like the idea that he would go from wherever he lives in the city and back, even that, you're getting near $140, $150. So that's without any social life. And that's without maybe him needing special vehicles because he's enormous. Like he might have to go XXL or XL or whatever. He has to. He's almost 7 feet tall.
He's not rolling up on those yellow cabs that were converted into Ubers this year. I'm like, I got an Uber. That's a yellow cab. What? That's my ride? Remember there was like fancy waters and gum and like peanut M&Ms sometimes. Like this is luxury. We're all going to be happy people. That didn't last long.
No, you are 100% right. You get in, there'd be like a little baby water, and then they would offer you one when you left, one when you got in. It was just this. They'd have a whole bag of baby waters in the front. Yeah, you'd be playing your own music. You need to charge your phone. Like real luxury service. Yeah, now it's like, this is a livery cab. This is one of them green cabs that couldn't go into Manhattan by law.
I was riding to the sounds of Baby Shams, Beanie Man, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
For
rock and
a
roll.
young digital car share service, it was a survival story.
That's right. But, it is a luxury to take one of those, so I get it. And people were critical of Michael Porter Jr. because he has political and emotional thoughts that are sometimes ridiculous and sometimes offensive. So this seemed like another one of those. But if you just do the math, life is very expensive in New York. Holy cow. I know so many people that we've known for years being like, it's not getting easier, it's getting harder. And these are like my big money years, my late 30s, early 40s, early 50s. This is when I'm supposed to be making the most money of my life. I cannot afford to go out to dinner with you because I live in a faraway place in Brooklyn and La Ziterie is in the West Village.
Yes, I agree. I think there was a misunderstanding of how expensive it is to ride Ubers wherever you go, because just doing it in a non-lavish way is expensive. And if you are a guy who's making $40 million a year, well, what's the big deal?
Yeah, no. And I think the suggestion was there was a cultural and visceral gap between the wealthy and the not $40 million a year wealthy that was broadening and getting more offensive. But I was like, this is making him closer to us because I'll handle a $60 car ride. He did mention he lives in a very quiet part of Brooklyn, and he was like, yo, Manhattan, New York City is not hustle and bustle. I live in a very secluded place. Where do you think he lives?
Dumbo.
We'll get into JJ Redick in a second, but did he Chat GPT where JJ Redick lives? Did he log on for an hour and a half being like, where's a quiet place in Brooklyn? Because Dumbo's kind of quiet.
I mean, I'm just saying that because Ben Simmons lived there, JJ Redick lived there. There's someone whispering to basketball players, Dumbo is where you go. And if you're playing for the Nets, you can just jump on the BQE or whatever it is, the Beltway, Gowanus, and get up there to the practice facility. You're already close enough, but you're near the city, and it's like, get a big loft. You're 26 years old. You don't want like a regular apartment. You want a big loft with a roof deck, and there's the sprawling city lying before you. One day this can all be yours, Michael Porter Jr.
Well, it's a taste thing, and it's a new money thing, right? Because there's buildings in Dumbo that have doormen that are new, that are glass, that are modern, that have like dog walkers, like all-inclusive experiences that cater to people who look for that kind of expression of wealth. Like, I would be delighted but surprised if Porter Jr. was like, I moved into a brownstone. Like, it was a 1901 brownstone, but it's beautiful. Isn't that the dream? I'm like, oh, that's old money taste. That's like some
I'm
sort of
living in Bay Ridge. It kind of speaks to my roots as an Italian American.
Like, we talk about this all the time. The game I love to play is, if I won the lottery, where would I move to? If New York City was an open door to me, I'd go to like 11th Street. Like towards the west side, not Chelsea per se, but 11th, 12th, those big brownstones. That's where I think the money expresses itself even more than Fifth Avenue.
What's funny is a lot of those places have been, rebuilt inside, and obviously they're extraordinarily expensive. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
The rents are for like parlor floor, basement, having 2 levels, duplex, backyard. You're talking about like $25,000 a month.
And you're talking about our friend. I know exactly who you're talking about.
And if Michael Porter Jr. did that, which is 100% within his means to do that.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, he's paying $250 a day on cars. What do you think he's paying a day on rent?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, well, we can do that. Let's do the math. What is that a day? Let's see. 25,000 divided by 30. He's spending $830 a day on rent. It's like, man, this is the cost of doing business when you're incredibly wealthy.
Yeah, I mean, I know this. The wealthiest person I've ever befriended had a whole floor in Chelsea in one of those new buildings, and he had a car service just available to him. He's like, where do we want to go? I have a driver. I'm like, just waiting? He's like, well, yeah, that's what a driver does. He waits for me to go somewhere. Obviously, I got to give him a heads up, but like, yeah. You want to go somewhere in 20 minutes? Let's go. Shocked me, but also, of course, right? Like, that is not even the tip of the iceberg of the Steve Ballmer kind of wealth. So like Porter Jr. for 250. I mean, like, have you watched Architectural Digest, like JJ Redick, even Ben Simmons? I believe he has an AD where he walks us into his uh, sprawling loft, and he's got a wall of bear bricks that are underlit. It's wild because we're not even talking about buying Mr. Monopoly paintings or Banksy knockoffs. We're talking bear brick, and I'm like, I don't like middlemen advisors in kind of taste making, but like if you're going to invite a website over to take a look at your house, man, those bear bricks are front and center.
Yeah, I think the idea that wealth in New York, right, this excessive, extreme amount of wealth buys you a brownstone in the West Village is funny because those were at one point were probably not like for the richest people. They are brownstones. These are like regular buildings. And this has been an expensive neighborhood for a long time, but we know people who grew up in the West Village who are relatively middle class or grew up in Soho and are relatively middle class. And the idea that it's like, okay, if you can pay $20 million, you can live in this brownstone. It's like, for that's $20 million. It's, yeah, I mean, it's 4 floors. It's beautiful edifice. But that thing, that's $20 million. And then, I was upstate in Rochester, very different city. And this is, this area where George Eastman House, this magnificent mansion that's turned into a museum for, the moving picture, like film, video, etc. And it's one of the better attractions you got.
Hillbilly Elegy, yeah.
We don't have a lot, but that's one of them. Mm-hmm. But you could live on that same street, a couple of houses over, in like an 8-bedroom, beautiful mansion that has like one of those little like verandas on the top where you could come out and survey everything, and then they're like 1.3. Like that's like
a lot of money.
That's like it's a lot of money, but it's like a studio in Crown Heights. You got it. You nailed it. You got a studio in Crown Heights. Or this mansion. I'm like, well, I guess I'd take the studio.
Yeah. I mean, $20 million maybe buys you the luxury house in the West Village, but then property taxes and those could be upwards of like $12,000 a month. It's crazy just to exist there.
Yeah, I'm not saying this out of sympathy for the people who have extravagant amounts of wealth. It's more that New York is so fucked up that even the mega rich don't get much bang for the buck.
No, you have to win the good lottery to do your thing. I befriended a parent couple from Canada, Toronto and Montreal, and they spend some time out there when school is not in session. And in earnest, one of them this weekend was like, we have both are living the East Brooklyn life. Let me tell you what that gets you in Montreal. And they went down the list. And I know you've been to Montreal. And I was like, that sounds so wonderful. That's amazing. I cannot be a Canadian. I cannot raise a Canadian family. I am willing to be white knuckle it in New York just so my kid can go to the MoMA.
Sure. I mean, of course, this is the math that everybody is making. It's like, Andrew, you got a nice spot in Bed-Stuy, but have you considered a mansion in Rochester? You're like, yeah, I didn't consider that. That was not on my list of considerations. Yeah. Oh, here I am, the sword of Damocles waving. Which will it be? Mm-hmm.
And this is crazy.
The sword of Damocles waved. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking more of some sort of Libra
Cousins?
DeMarcus Cousins of Damocles. Yeah.
This is why I'm upset today, because we needed Eric Adams to come through as mayor, repeat mayor, to make New York City affordable again, to prioritize the visceral happiness of New Yorkers who live here, people who want to live here, people who want to stay here. This is Eric Adams' entire message. And now he's bowed out.
We were promised Mr. Outside, and we got him. He delivered on that promise. He was touching grass. He was in your neighborhood barbershop at 1 a.m. after it was closed, smoking a cigar, sipping Henny, That's what he offered, and that's what he gave us. Mission accomplished, Mr. Mayor.
Is that Eric Adams in the corner of the Italian hotspot, La Capolini?
Yes, that's
La
him.
Capolini? I'm sorry. Adam, save us. God damn it. He's not running.
So, before we don't have to talk about his legacy because he's still mayor for a little while left. So we can talk about that later.
He's got more jokes in him.
Yeah, he's got more content to serve to the eager populace. I think I would say the biggest thing about Eric Adams that I do not, of course, respect, but I would just say is most emblematic of him is selling out for Donald Trump in order to save his own hide from federal charges. Like, that's it. That gets to the crux of Eric Adams. Like, yeah, run up in our city, hassle our migrants, do whatever you want to do as long as you don't bring charges against me. Like, dirty cop brought it home.
Hey, if you, Ben Dietrich, was caught by Pablo Torre embezzling cookies funds illegally, taking cookies bribes just to maintain your status on the show, and Donald Trump was like, Dietrich, I can get you out of this, I'd be like, do it. Just take that deal, man. Just do it. Let the critics have their day. Just avoid those jail bars and the interns. They're behind bars. You know how bad that is.
So you're going to be arrested for some of these takes on the top 30 list. Like,
kowtow to MAGA. Yeah.
Throw the book on Andrew. Get this Quo guy out of here.
I mean, Adams, mission accomplished. He wanted to be top dog in New York, just a taste, just a little bit. Whatever cost that is to him spiritually, I don't know if he goes to mayoral heaven or hell. That's to be decided by someone else. But it feels like he did his thing. And of course he would want 4 more years. Who wouldn't? But I think he sees the writing on the wall. It's like, I can't believe I got away with what I got away with. Like, I am a free man. I'm in jail. I get comped at Rayo's or La Capolini for the rest of my life. I did it. So in order to maintain my freedom, I will hand over the opportunity for Cuomo and Mamdani to fight it out.
I have a fridge full of unclaimed Premio sausages. All is right with the world. What's missing from the story about Eric Adams stepping down thus far has been who paid him. Because when we're talking about a pretty corrupt cop here, you'd assume some money is being exchanged. Because a few weeks ago...
Kawhi Leonard money?
Is it aspirational money?
I mean, he can be bought. We know that. But he's like Quentin Grimes. He can't really exude his leverage, per se, because he doesn't have that much of it.
Well, a few months back, or no, maybe a month ago, there was a rumor that he was going to drop out. And he was going to take an ambassadorship to Dubai or Emirates.
Abu Dhabi, weird.
It was something like that Trump was trying to orchestrate to get him to drop out of the race. And apparently he didn't want that deal. That's what it came down to. Who's
he in trouble with in Abu Dhabi?
Well, I just mean, Eric Adams wants to be in New York City. He wants to be hanging out at cigar bars at 1 a.m. He doesn't want to be in Abu Dhabi.
It wasn't a golden age for nightlife when he was here.
No, he likes hanging out in New York. He's the former mayor. He's a celebrity here. He doesn't want to go hang out in a place where there's no alcohol.
Did you see his drip this week during what holiday was it? Yom Kippur? Or was it Rosh Hashanah? Rosh Hashanah is this week, I believe. I think it was Yom Kippur. I respectfully am not educated in the correct procession of these holidays, but I am educated in Eric Adams' drip. He looked good. That was quite the photo op.
Yeah, he looked amazing. Last week was Rosh Hashanah.
Okay.
And he had huge stars of David. It was very Bodhi-esque, and it's
It looked handmade, one of one.
yeah, dramatic finery, filigreed,
cool.
filigreed finery. That was great.
If everything there was like Knicks oriented, I'd be like, how much? Like $50,000? How much does that cost? $100,000? Michael Porter Jr., help us.
Yeah, so he was looking great, feeling great, and someone definitely sweetened that pot. Like, okay, we couldn't seduce you with an ambassadorship to the Middle East. He's like, look, I need that brownstone money. Not Bed-Stuy brownstone money.
No, not Bed-Stuy.
I need West Village brownstone money.
Hell.
And we'll find out what that job is. Like, yeah, you're getting paid $5 million a year to be on the advisory board for Quoco. Like, oh, Quoco? What's Quoco?
EA2 LLC? What is what could this possibly be? Donald Trump on Truth Social, I believe this morning on Monday, was like kind of following up on the Adams news, being like, if Mamdani is the mayor of New York City, there's going to be hell to pay. We will throw spears and burn your ideologies from DC. Like, you don't want the wrath of Donald Trump trying to like scare us. Man, we just want to be able to stay here and afford our Ubers. That's all we want.
If you elect this communist, I personally will burn this city to the ground. I'll do that to save the city. I will flood it with troops. I will raise the buildings and salt the earth so no crops can ever grow, to make sure this communist
burning it to the ground
does not make the buses fast and free.
There's no way he can make the buses faster. I ride the bus all the time. I'm like, Mamdani, you can't do this. You can make it free. It's already free. You don't have to pay if you don't want to. But I've noticed more people paying. There's the social pressure to pay now, as opposed to, depends on what ride you take and what time of day it is.
That's directly from the force that you've exerted on the public to start paying their fares.
Theft. I think it's theft. That's all. I think if you can't afford it, you should ask somebody to pay for you or not ride it.
I think if you can't afford it, you should be able to ride it for free.
People do. I mean, remember, the elderly, the handicapped, and teenagers and below can ride for free.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I mean, I think it's, if it's not a written rule, it's an unwritten rule. But people like me should pay. And when you look like me and you're not paying, I'm like, come on, ask me if I'll pay for you.
Look, I have no problem with people just jumping the turnstile. I pay for it, whatever. It's like, I feel like, do you want to chip in on this? Yeah, I'll chip in. $3 sounds good. Also, some of the stuff that's come out about their deals with Omni, OMNY,
I know
the percentage that they're getting, and then they're raising the fares. Like,
you need an Omni card now. I'm like, do I? It's like, or you can tap with your credit card. I'm like, what?
And
I used to wait in line for coins.
They're also, apparently with the Omni stuff, they're selling the information. I was like, you guys suck. Like, you're not a very sympathetic organization who's cooking the books and selling your data. Like, come on, you gotta pay. It's your civic duty. Like, yeah, but you guys are selling us out too. So I don't really have a dog in this fight.
But you're a bad digital friend. Like, if I had a piece of jewelry that was my friend and it was you, I'd be like, with digital friend jewelry like this, who needs digital friend jewelry?
I am really excited for this product. Now their ads are covering the walls of the subways. While you're there, hopping the turnstile, you see your digital friend looking at you with disapproval.
Drop that chopped cheese and get personal with me, buddy. I'm a necklace.
So this is a digital device that apparently you would talk to in the method of Siri, I guess, but I'm presuming that it's on all the time, just gathering your data, listening to your conversations, funneling that information to Tel Aviv, and then however else this product works. The idea that having knowledge of how your data is harvested and resold, and then stringing yourself up with this device strikes me as being on you. Like, this is a bad product. This is evil. But, like, if you're willing to put this around your neck, knowing what we know, and have this little Amazon device style thing, listening to your conversations all day, and then trying to peddle you Georgian water or giving you credit cards, it's kind of on you, man.
I use Twitter. I use Instagram. I use my phone. It's all my war has been lost there because I'm addicted to my cell phone. But to that point, I'm like, weren't you guys sending your DNA to for-profit companies to find out if you were 0.4% Viking, and then posting that information on Twitter? Like, okay, I think the crux of this is marketing and jewelry, because this company may be insulting our skepticism by marketing it as like a friend that you need to talk to in these dark times. Like, fuck you. Or they're marketing against our vanity, being like, we are style gods. We are all Eric Adamses. We don't want to wear jewelry that isn't carefully curated by a gatekeeper, because the computers in the glasses have had a tough time getting going. I think Apple Watches look terrible. I kind of don't think those hit at all, but those are reasonably popular. The Apple Vision Pro didn't quite work, not because it wasn't insanely wonderful technology. It's because people didn't want to look stupid. So it's like offering us a device that flies in the face of our own self-image is a tough sell. And before I slap on one of those dumb Aura rings, you have to convince me that it's cool.
Yeah, I think the Ray-Bans with the camera have gotten a little more traction because they mostly just look like Ray-Bans.
But you can see the camera. Like, they're the worst fucking things, right?
Oh, I mean, I'm opposed to them morally, spiritually. I just mean those have not had the same visceral revulsion that the initial Google glasses did, because Ray-Bans are kind of innocuous. But yeah, you can see the camera, the little peephole that's watching you, recording you, etc.
Yeah. I mean, vaping looks cool. That won over cigarettes. I think when I see someone vape, I'm like, that kind of looks cool. I got to admit, I never thought I would think that. There's ways to get through to the zeitgeist. And then from the zeitgeist, it's a trickle-down cultural theory, right? But I think this friend necklace kind of offends people on a subconscious level.
I think there's two reasons for that. And one is that the name itself is deeply awful, where you're trying to intentionally converge the human understanding of a friend with a robotic surveillance device.
It's also like an accusation. You're a loser.
Is it cool if I bring my friend? Yeah, of course. Where are they? Oh, no, I meant this device around my neck that's going to surveil us.
Yeah.
Like, the intentional linguistic conflation is offensive and annoying and stupid. Hey, I think I'm going to get a friend. I thought you had friends. No, I mean the surveillance device.
Have you seen Blade Runner #2 with Ryan Gosling?
Yes.
Not only is that an amazing movie, but that kind of is this idea, right? His partner is a projection of his design through a device. And that device looks like a vape, you know? And this protagonist, Ryan Gosling, is his R2-D2 is this person until that person is either destroyed, or the symbolism of this person to him is dispatched when he sees the same image of her everywhere, or as a large scale advertisement. And it's a very melancholy idea that's supposed to be a commentary on how stupid we can be about this. But then you take a sort of beautiful satire, but maybe a criticality, and you turn it into just like a base level. It's like, well, what if we actually did it? I'm like, are we not like thinking hard enough? Like, It's like, just like in Blade Runner. I'm like, no, not just like in Blade Runner. And this is not Orwellian. I don't like that term very much. But like, whoever sat in that room was like, okay, whoever's in this room, we're going to IPO this and we're all going to get very rich. And it's going to fail and we'll move on to the other thing. And that cynicism kind of is getting tougher to convince us of, because we see these ads and like, you guys just want to exit with your package.
Well, what you said before is that every time we see a science fiction movie that's a cautionary tale, like, okay, but what if we were able to get rich off of that? I get this movie, it's saying that this is leading to a very dark, evil, dangerous place for humanity. But we could get exceedingly wealthy in the process. So I think we should make that a reality, this Lovecraftian concept. That could be really beneficial to us personally. And
Pitch meetings will be fire.
And it's for effective altruism. It's actually for a good cause.
We're going to plant trees.
Carbon credits.
We're going to win the NBA championship.
Well, I will not be wearing the friend device. I am trying to shed friends. I want less friends.
No
more
new friends. Drake fan over here.
So, just as I'm tempting to shed friends, you've been shedding your digital
hardware
subscriptions.
Oh, I thought you were going into the Technics 1200 conversation, because I've been shedding gear, but
not quite yet.
All right, so I have been shedding some digital subscriptions. Started with Paramount. I took a look at it. I'm like, I'm not a big Yellowstone guy. Also, it doesn't occur with enough frequency if I was to be able to justify having this thing. I just recently this week, I don't care about Jimmy Kimmel. There's other things that make me upset. Kimmel is back, whatever. I'm glad we didn't spend that much of our emotional space on that. But I did cancel Disney, which is packaged with Hulu, which is ending anyway, and ESPN, which has some NBA games if they're not blacked out, because I'm a Knicks fan.
Were they too woke for you?
Or were they too not woke for me? Were they positive or negative? I'm not sure. Maybe they were not woke enough.
This last week has been tough for me because I only get my news from Sinclair, and I thought I was finally free of Jimmy Kimmel, but then you and your woke brethren muscled them using the carrot and the stick approach of NFL football and sports to make Jimmy Kimmel come back on my television.
The man.
I'm furious about that. His comedy is so searing.
Who did he have on? Gavin Newsom? Gavin Newsom? Sorry, that's an old DFA Records recording artist, Gavin Newsom. Shout out to Gavin.
Then he had James Murphy and Eric Duncan on it.
Yeah. Shout out to Black Dice. But there is a unsurmountable issue that these streaming platforms have, which is as soon as you consume the content that they have that isn't released as new stuff, like if I go back and watch all like The Wire, oh, I saw that for the second time, or Breaking Bad, oh, I did that again, then you're stuck waiting for new stuff. And in order to get over that hump, you have to produce stuff at such a clip where there's not enough talent in the world to supply that demand.
And in some ways, that's why HBO's insistence on the weekly rollout, I think, ultimately works to their benefit. Because if you want to hear the tale of a Jared McCain fan turned drug house robber, you got to do it on a weekly basis. You can't just stream it and say, bring me more. My ravenous digital consumption appetite demands human sacrifice. Give me a series, Netflix. I'll watch it in 36 hours.
But Netflix is working, right? Like Netflix has overcome its trepidous stock plunge. And now it's like back because people believe in this model.
This is true, but Netflix is also, they're the volume shooter. They're Whole
Foods.
They are not putting out great series, but they're putting out series.
Yeah, and they've tapped into things that don't cost a ton of money, like documentaries and reality TV. There's a new cooking show on there that probably costs them much less than Black Rabbit that I watched in 3 nights. Um, I enjoy my. I'm not canceling Netflix yet. So standing right now is Apple, which I'm gonna cancel very soon. I think slow horses every few years is not enough for me. I like Prime. It's included in my Prime subscription, whatever.
But
So
Prime does not really have any shows that I watch. It's, as you said, a sort of organ of the Amazon Prime delivery system.
which is
There's
annoying
some,
and not cheap.
there's some, no, there's some decent movies on it, but yeah, as far as new shows, I never think of Amazon as a place that's debuting a series that I have cared about in a
They have
while.
football though. Not that I care about football as much anymore. They have live football games and live baseball games. I enjoy watching baseball on there. So they're trying. There's just not enough stuff for all these. Like, I I hate to use the C bomb, and I'm not that C bomb, but capitalism is weird, right? Because
Yeah, I was really waiting to see which
Chris Copeland,
C-bomb you're
Caitlin
gonna
Clark,
drop.
I don't know. Let's make a logo for the C bomb, but it. I get why all these networks would be like, we got to give our shot. We got to take a shot. And maybe we can be some sort of hub. There's a lot to capture here, and we'd be remiss not to attempt. And I get why they don't care about us being like, all you need is Paramount. I'm like, but what about Task? Do you have George Lynch dramas featuring Eric Snow with Theo Ratliff as a busy friend? You have that. It's like, no, we don't. We have Yellowstone. I'm like, well, I don't care about the Utah Jazz.
Is there a Samuel D'Alembert based drama on your streaming service? I need that in my life.
One of the great Sixers Knicks legends.
Yeah, I've been very close to canceling Netflix, but have not. I've still got it. And what I've been watching a lot of lately, which has sort of been a surprise to me, is Canopy. And it starts with a K. I don't know why, but it's Canopy with a K. And you have to use a library card to subscribe to it. And it's mostly,
Wait,
I guess,
say more.
library.
Yeah. So Canopy is a service that you need a library card to subscribe to.
On your, Apple TV, it looks the same as anything else. It's a portal. Like, you go to it, it's a bunch of list of movies and TV shows. You've got your watch lists. You click on stuff. It's no different from anything else, but it's more stripped down. It doesn't work that well, and it's not refined. They don't have tons of recommendations. It feels like it's library based in some ways, but really good collection of odd movies, especially foreign ones, just weird fucking movies. And it depends on where the library card that you have is based. So I couldn't, if I used my library card from Brooklyn, you can only get like 2 movies a month. But if you use a different one, which I went and sourced a different library card from a different place that has a different deal with Canopy, then it's unlimited watching.
So
But
you got that Salt Lake City library card, so you can watch Yellowstone #1.
Exactly. But yeah, Canopy, it's basically kind of a Criterion, but it's free with a library card. So I'm saying,
Which
there's
movies
ways-
were this month's movies? Give me some names.
What have I watched on there? I was watching this Russian movie. I have to go look. I forget what I've been exactly watching. I'm really watching odd movies these days.
Yeah, this sounds like a sprocket ass service. Are there like communist Tom and Jerry's? Is it like the 70s fascist propaganda? Like, what are we doing?
I mean, it just feels like a library's video collection. It's like, yeah, it's a bunch of weird, esoteric. There's a lot of short films. It's like, it's a bunch of like.
So it feels like,
pretentious artsy
is it
shit.
Mondo Kim's? Is it Kim's Underground? Or is it a Criterion Closet?
Little A, little B.
Like, is there
But if
Lydia Lunch? Is there like very fringe stuff?
Yeah, there's super fringe stuff.
Like
The
John Waters related stuff.
Stream classic cinema, indie film, and top documentaries. That's their quote. Public and academic libraries that offers films, TV shows, educational videos, and documentaries. It's free for end users, but libraries pay a fee on a pay-per-view model.
Until you name some movies, I'm going to assume it's Superman, but in Russian.
I mean,
from the dog's point of view.
Okay. Moonlight, 8th Grade, Rashomon.
Those are very popular movies, though.
Central Park 5. That's just what's on their website. But there's
that's good. I mean, I would want to watch all. Those are some masterpieces.
Anyway, I'm giving it the Cookies Hoops bend.
Okay.
Seal of approval that it's slept on, no one uses it, it's got good stuff, and it's free. If you can get a library card that's not based in New York, because then it's kind of limited.
Sort of like our top 30 ranks. I'm a little confused.
Anyway, I just wanted to shout out that. In other news, Andrew, your favorite band was performing over in my neck of the woods this weekend. Banker's Anchor, right next to Lot Radio, hosted the band of the moment, Geese, who recently
not to be confused with Goose. Geese, not Goose. It's not Goose. It's Geese.
Geese, who got a 9.0 on Pitchfork, bringing back an old school vibe of like talking about a Pitchfork ranking. It's like, what are we doing? Everyone's like 9.0, 9.0. I heard they got a 9.0. I'm like, this is filling me with nostalgia.
Yeah, there is a culture that is still fixated on the Algernon Cadwaladers getting best new music, or debating why Alphonse Pierre didn't love the Clips album. It's still out there. Cameron Winter's band, Geese, not to be confused with Goose. Goose is a different band. Geese is a different band. There's Geese and there's Goose. There's Goose, and then plural, Geese. And Goose is immensely popular. They're a jam band that can sell out MSG like instantly. They are huge. Geese, not to be confused with Goose, is kind of an arty band from New York, featuring Cameron Winter, who has a wildly critically successful solo career already under his belt. Earlier this year, maybe within this calendar year, I believe he released his solo record, and all the heads went to see him. They loved it. Ravaged. It is about music criticism. It was almost music made to be written about, and that was wonderful in a way. But now Geese, not to be confused with Goose, played this weekend, and I don't like them. They sound like clap your hands, say yeah.
We talked a few months back about the recent infatuation with like the clap stomp sound and indie music era. And I think we said specifically, the infatuation with this sound means it's coming back, whether you like it or not. Like, ha ha ha, remember that sound, the clap stomp? That was so funny and lame. How cringe. I'm like, yeah, you just wait. Because if you're talking about it, it's coming. And this would be sort of the closest version of that. I think Cameron Winter's solo album is really good. I like it. I think you are correct in that, in the same way some people accuse the Cookies Hoops lists of being rage bait, which is certainly not true. This was critic bait.
We'll address those accusations later in the basketball segment.
But they're completely wrong. Just offensive, really, to even imply such a thing. But the Cameron Winter album was good. I like it. I listened to it a bunch of times. It's cool. And it's very clear that this kid who grew up in Park Slope and has been in a band since he was like 15 years old is doing a thing. He's doing a thing, but he's good at it. You know, it's like a little bit of Tom Waits in there. The sort of
David Byrne, for sure.
You know, but the sort of world-weary voice of a 21-year-old who grew up in Park Slope.
Devendra Banhart, respect to the gods.
From LA, yeah, exactly.
It is an LA sound. I expected them to be from affluent part of LA, but they're from an affluent part of Brooklyn.
But I really do think he is talented. Like ornate arrangements. He's making really good music. It's smart. His lyrics are interesting. His albums, the solo album's called Heavy Metal. The Geese album, do you remember what that's called, the new one, just so we know what we're talking about here?
It's got an offensive title. It's got a gun pointed at the viewer. It's called like Kill something. It's been censored.
Oh, yes. It's called Getting Killed. But it's not a gun.
It's got a gun pointing at you if you were
I think it's a trombone or something like that.
Oh, that's not a gun. My bad.
Anyway,
Anyway,
getting killed is the name of
the
it.
killed part kind of threw me off. It is, and when I say I don't like it, it doesn't mean that it's good. And this is debate. If you don't like it, then it's bad. If you like it, then it's good. I don't believe that at all. Critically, I think this is decent. If someone was like, a part of my mind thinks that it is wonderful that a band from New York, a buzzy band, is taking some sort of chance. It is not just writing the most succinct pop song they can. He is walking on a line that could be easily construed as bad, and I think that's exciting. It doesn't bring me along because of just aesthetics, and I get confused with the band Goose, but that's just my fault. That's a skill issue on my part.
Yeah, that's a quo issue.
Yeah, it's not Goose, it's Geese. It's not Goose, it's Geese. So I listen to those Geese songs and I'm like, this is not boring, but it also doesn't work for me. And I might be out of touch, but this is immediately it's directly addressing the things I am fluent in. I've seen Devendra Banhart play like 4 or 5 times. You know, like I've seen the Talking Heads. I think I saw the Talking Heads at CBG's reunion. That was a long time ago. But I know David Byrne, and I grew up listening to people who loved him. And I like Clap Your Hands, Say Yeah. I thought that those bands are mocked now. Those albums are mocked now, but kind of good. The first 2 albums kind of good. But the affectations are fascinating because they're like, to your point, bootcut jeans. The first time around, I was weary. The second time around, I was confused. Now they're just a thing I have to accept.
Yeah, I think one of our buddies who's in a band, but so I'm not gonna say his name because this was a group chat. But he was like,
band. You hate this.
But
band.
he was like, yeah, they remind me of other 70s. They remind me of 70s bands that I don't like. It's like that's a reasonable take on it.
That I don't like. Right.
That's what they're doing. They're making a sound that is specific and it's a thing and it's not for everyone.
Yep. Yeah, it's aesthetic, and I don't know where I think being contrary is important, especially as a band like Geese, not Goose, is doing themselves. They're like, we're gonna fly in the face of what Sabrina Carpenter is doing or the headliners of Coachella are doing. We are artists. We are New Yorkers. We will pave new roads for other bands after us. That's exciting. I just don't like their aesthetic.
And I think this applies even when I'm just talking about Canopy. Like I want to watch more weird shit. I want to listen to more weird shit. I'm not here to criticize poptimism, but I'm not interested in that anymore. Give me weirder stuff. It is time for oddities. I want to watch fucked up weird movies. I want to listen to weird fucked up music. I want to read fucked up books. I'm done with the boring stuff. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's just not good. It's not good enough. Like this is what we were talking about with Netflix, and I'm not talking about any specific show. The average one you put on, it's not good. It's not clever. It's not funny. It's not interesting. It's not good. It hits a threshold of competency that's good enough to be made and put on for binge watching while you're on a second screen, while you're on the Cookies Hoops top 30 to have a Netflix series in the background. Not good enough.
Yeah.
Shock and awe me. Make me delighted, Andrew.
Yeah. This is some inside baseball stuff, but one of my favorite bands, Unwound, played Elsewhere a few weeks ago, and they did this album called The Future of What from start to finish. Classic record. I love that record. I bootlegged that album cover. Came out in 1995. It was a call to arms, right? Like this band, so exciting from the Northwest, was just like, where's your energy? Like, do something new. No more classic rock. We are here. We're not even doing punk from the 80s. We are doing punk from 1995 now. And it sounded abrasive and exciting and fast and loud and awesome. 2 of the 3 surviving members played Elsewhere, and a couple of my old head friends, 2 separate friends, were like, where were you? Unwound played and you weren't there. What's your excuse? You're here now, you have kids, but you weren't there. And I I had to talk about something that I had been thinking about, which was relevant to this Geese conversation. I was like, when that album came out in 95, I was convinced of what they were telling me. The future of what? What the hell am I doing that's so good or new? It is at one point, on one hand, a melancholy, defeatist idea. On another hand, it was aspirational. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard. And then seeing them in 2025, like 30 years later, I'm like, me and you, to my friend, have a different interpretation of what they were saying. Because seeing them as old men like myself sing the words of an album called The Future of What is too sad. Forget all that. Go to Greenpoint and watch Geese, man.
Get over to Banker's Anchor.
But you know what I'm saying? So, like, Geese is a throwback band. They're playing guitars. Even that is weird. And there's been chatter online being like, told you guys not what we were saying about fashion, but like kids will be trading in their samplers and their turntables and their digital equipment for SGs, for Gibsons, for Marshall stacks. It's back. Rock and roll is back. And it got me thinking, man, like I adored my Technics 1200s for almost 2 decades. Treasured them. I put amazing pieces of vinyl on top of them. I relished in these objects and I gave them away. I remember one day, I think after Cookies recorded, I mentioned to my friend, like, I have no place for them anymore. I don't want them. I haven't touched them in a few months. I'm looking to sell them. And our friend was like, may I have them? And I'm like, yeah, you're a good friend. You can have them. It was like, they're not cheap. They're like $1,200 or $1,300, like their name. And I gave them to him. And then years later, I was just like, oh, I gave those up too quickly. I really love them, those specific turntables. They lived with me through my adolescence and my aspirational years. And then I was like, but they're a curse because all they did was make me think about ideas that were outdated and not useful for me in the future. Because what do you put on them? Vinyl. What's on vinyl? Ideas. Which ideas? Old ideas. Old ideas that had been sitting on a shelf. And what do you do with those ideas? You think about them and then you put them away, you catalog them, and then you get more. And I'm like, this seems like a trap to me. Time to get rid of these turntables.
I have a pair of Technics 1200s as well, obviously.
Mm-hmm. As we do.
I only have one of them in New York. It's not plugged into anything. It's just kind of sitting there. Not in like the roastable on Nolita dirtbag way of like, oh, I'm showing you I have a turntable. It's not that. It's not that. It's hooked up to a receiver that is also not plugged into speakers. Certainly not for aesthetic purposes. I would never do such a thing. Mm-hmm. It's mostly because I'm just trying to figure out how to hook it up and then how I'm going to buy the attachment so I could play some vinyl and then that could go onto my speakers.
What does this yellow RCA do? Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, but yeah, I'm probably not going to do all that. I mean, I would like the idea of, I have culled my record collection down to like a couple hundred, Same. And I'm like, I would like to put those on every now and then. That's a fun experience. I like these records. I have not put in the effort to make it a reality in like 5 years. Like the turntable's there, the receiver's there, the records are there. I'm like, well, if I'm really itching to hear this jazz record, it is also on Spotify.
Right. And this is, I guess, a long-winded way to get to my Geese take, which is Cameron Winter's a wonderful one-of-one artist, but it feels like a trick played on young people by old people. It's like, you know what is good? Guitars. You guys, stuff I know. Like, do the stuff I know about because it confirms my worth or my authenticity. Kids are in bands again. This sounds like the Talking Heads. I know about the Talking Heads.
Anthony Edwards? Oh, well, yeah. He's the future of the league. He's the face of the league. In fact, right. He reminds me so much of Michael Jordan.
Exactly. Right? And it's just like, Ben Simmons, don't want anything to do with him. I'm like, why? What don't you like about Uncover? It's like, oh, there's something here that infuriates you, that's interesting and objectively good. And I'm like, keep your digital stuff. Like, grow from your digital stuff. Don't throw them away. Detecting's 1200, kind of analog. But, like, if you have samplers and stuff, I'm like, keep them. We're not done with these things yet. Like, we don't need more
As a
guitars.
Devendra Bernhardt originalist, I
Yeah.
believe that Cameron Winter is the future of music.
Is that wobbly voice that singer standing on one foot, on one bare foot?
Well,
I
it's
like
funny
Devendra.
because
I like Devendra.
I mean the idea of like rock and roll coming back is not untrue necessarily. Like that's
It's
there
always
is
been here.
it's fucking rock and roll, man. You know, like one of my friends, she's dating a guy who's in a British rock band, and she's
Is it
very
Oasis?
no, but it's like a younger British rock band, and
Fontaines? Yeah.
but it's like she's dressing the part. She's like, you know, taking her cues from Alexa Chung and Jen Brill, and I'm like, oh, you're doing the
That's
research.
our generation. Yeah.
You're getting the culture. You're dressing in all
That
black
feels retro.
leather.
Yeah.
You're wearing your sunglasses everywhere. I'm like, you're doing rock and roll. It's still there. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and neither is electronic music. I don't think we're going to see only rock bands. The Coachella headliners were interesting. It made me feel good because there was some sort of populist versus subcultural clarity. When Justin Bieber and Sabrina Carpenter are headlining, like, good. At least we're clear about this now. It's like it gets confusing if like Turnstile's headlining, like, oh, and they're playing the festival, but that is the ultimate confusion.
I'm pretty sure Turnstile was at the K Bridge the other night. I think.
I'm sure.
It was some show of their ilk because I saw the hordes and hordes of people who were dressed.
I think Johnny Marr did Morrissey songs. Johnny Marr did Smith songs, I think.
Whatever it was, like the outfits, everyone was dressed the same way. Similar age bracket. Everyone's very festive, really, really loving life. I think this was Friday night, and I saw them milling down the streets, for 2 hours straight. They were just everywhere. Definitely coming from Cambridge, and I saw a bunch of Turnstile merch, so I kind of thought it was Turnstile, but maybe it wasn't.
I believe it was a festival. I had gone to see Spiritualized at Paramount Theater a few days beforehand. Different crowd. Not a Turnstile shirt to be seen, but like a lot of old heads, a lot of balding heads, a lot of real sad men. But there were people talking about that show, being like, "Oh, tomorrow maybe
Gotcha.
Johnny Marr will play this charming man." I'm like, I saw it. He did. Doesn't sound like Morrissey, but like it's cool to hear those riffs, I guess. Music is weird. I can really commiserate with the music fans that I used to avoid in my youth, because the vocabulary to talk about things that are young are difficult to pull off when you're not young, and to be interested in youth culture as a not youthful person has tension to it that isn't fun. It is sad. But to see young bands like Geese playing in a language that we understand so well is exciting, but also disappointing.
There's another genre, another list, if you will, that does not include sad men. It's only the least sad men in the National Basketball Association. And that would be the Cookies Hoops Top 30 list. Just so everyone understands, this list can be found currently on Instagram, the Cookies Hoops Instagram feed. Mm-hmm. And it is the authentic list. It has been verified as the correct top 30. People may object to some of the takes on it, but it is authenticated as the correct NBA top 30 overall list. Now, instead of going through and listing all of the correct slots for the biggest and brightest stars in the NBA, let's talk about a few of the ones that cause people consternation, Andrew.
Which ones did?
Well, one source of consternation, amongst several, was Zion Williamson being placed top 10 above such luminaries as Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson. Defend Zion Williamson's top 10 slottage.
It bears mentioning that injury has played a role in this list. The interns took everything into account. That's why you don't see Jason Tatum or Kyrie Irving, and they have two very different injuries, so you have to weigh that. Zion Williamson is notoriously fragile. He's lost some weight, as everyone does in this time of year. Zion Williamson is a wonderful basketball player. He is extremely, extremely good. You can talk about the way he looks and maybe his penchant for delicious food from New Orleans. But when he is right, he is a type of basketball player that can improvise and other players build around in real time. He can bring the ball up whenever he wants. He is a historically excellent field goal percentage god. He takes smart shots. He is a bouncing, whirling dervish of good basketball stuff. He is a top 10 player.
So, as you said, this is, with apologies to people who are skeptics of Zion, yes, he has made some poor dietary choices, some poor relationship choices, some poor tattoo choices at times.
Poor college choices.
Very poor.
Extremely poor.
Extremely poor. That would indicate, being a one and done.
Kentucky's
bust.
right there, buddy. Yeah.
But this is a pro Zion household that you are in, listener. Zion Williamson is phenomenal at basketball. You might have forgotten because he's gotten hurt and because of his poor decision making in other elements of his life. Zion is a beast. So if you went and looked at his numbers last year, you'd be like, oh, they're good. They're not jumping off the page. It's because he played 28 minutes a game. If he played the same kind of minutes as other comparable superstars, he would have put up 31, 9, and 7. Get the fuck out of here. Those are MVP numbers. He's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. If you talk about, look, I'm not the biggest BPM advocate, but as a thumbnail for contributing to winning basketball, it's like SGA, Giannis, and then Zion. He was third in the NBA in BPM. This is not a sort of good player who we're just hoping will be healthy. He is an absolute monster, and this is going to be the year. And that's why he's underrated at 10.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he was drafted number 1 overall, and people were throwing parties for the lottery for this one guy. This is not a hot take. He was so excellent at Duke, the one-and-done bus factory, that to speak of him now as a disappointment is a complicated cloud of data points because he hasn't been healthy. The Pelicans haven't been able to put together an excellent team with deep runs in the playoffs. His health is an issue.
And now, under the guidance of Joe Dumars, they have finally put together the perfect vehicle for Zion's success, surrounding him with the ideal components to take advantage of his unique gifts.
He's like, Dumars, you got Wingstop here? I get unlimited Wingstop. It's like, no, I got you wing players. Yeah, we're going to stop a bunch of offenses with a lot of wing players. He's like, yes, I'm into it. But let's not spend too much time on Zion. What other players from this top 30 list can we talk about?
Okay, well, we have to also address the omission of Oklahoma City, I guess, a 2-guard, 3-guard, combo guard, however you want to describe him, wing player.
Forever? He's a big guy.
Jalen Williams. Of the two Jalen Williams, this is the one that he was all NBA defense, may have been all NBA last year. May have been. I'm not totally sure, though. We could do the research if we cared about those kind of things.
He was.
But he did not make the top 30 lists. And I ran into an Oklahoma City fan who said, I'm not going for your rage bait. He's like, I think this is about me. I think you were personally trolling me. And I said,
he's my guy. Correct. He's my guy. Right. J-Dub.
I said, he's close, man. He's close. But this cookies list it's not easy. That's why it's so esteemed. And it means so much to the players who are named to it.
I mean, this was a heated debate in the Cookies lab. We were losing our cool, and
Ubering back and forth and arguing, and then Ubering
hundreds of dollars
arguing.
in rides. I would say he could be as high as number 7 or
Insane.
as low as number 31. And I played, and this is where I came to the reasoning of the debate. Oklahoma City, championship team, amazing pieces. Maybe 4 or 5 all defensive top 30 players in Cookie Soup's rankings. That team was constructed in a way that if you put the 28, 29, or 30th ranked Cookie Soup's player, swap them out for J-Dub. Let's say Amen Thompson's on that team instead of J-Dub. Ooh, what? Oh, Dyson Daniels is on that team instead of J-Dub. Like 2.5 steals per game, Dyson Daniels. John Morant's on that team. Like, yikes. Healthy John Morant attacking the rim. Trey Murphy III. It gets complicated, right? It's just like they should have been all NBA. Like, well, who are you taking off that team? And all these players that are at the end of this list, you put them on OKC, it's even a scarier team, perhaps.
I think he is undoubtedly a extremely good basketball player in like very much the traditional sense. He's got handle. He can shoot. He can get to the basket. He's filthy. He's filthy. Great finishes, little step backs.
Should have been an MVP conversation guy.
I'm saying he's just a nasty basketball player. But also separating that from, okay, you're the second banana on a team who is the MVP. There is an ecosystem on this team that allows...
Yeah.
Maybe right. You're a banana. You're you're an ancillary banana
You're
on a
tertiary
team
banana. Yeah.
that includes the MVP. And the MVP in this ecosystem, while being the primary offensive engine, was able to put up 35 a game or whatever it was on like 64% scoring efficiency. Like, that's insane. And that's as the primary option. So I feel like when you look at that OKC roster and you see all these other guys who are able to be efficient scorers all over the place as ancillary bananas, you're like, well, I think J-Dub is fantastic, but why weren't you able to also be like hyper efficient? Not even to get into like being a true shooting pervert. I just mean, well, what happened here? In this situation where you don't have the pressure and you to be the primary scorer, and you also have the luxury of playing with a guy that takes all the attention from the defense, how come you couldn't do the stuff that other great players can? So I think we haven't seen enough to separate him from Jaylen Brown, who also deservedly did not make the list, but also that group of players that are excellent, but like RJ Barrett puts up a similar like 21, 5 and 5. Yeah. Kobe White. And I'm not, he is better than these guys because he's a better defender. He's a better defender. But 21, 5 and 5 on league average efficiency, though, it's like Zach LaVine. It just puts you into a category that isn't an offensive superstar, isn't a facilitator, isn't a great rebounder. And again, his defense is better than those guys, and I think that's what puts him above them. But the 21, 5 and 5 league average efficiency doesn't jump off the page to me as being decisively a top 30 player, even though, like, arguably he certainly could be.
This is why I'm proud of you, man. You have the courage to challenge J-Dub. And the way you challenge Steph Curry, it's like, well, be the better player. And then when Steph Curry was a better player, you were like, you're welcome. You're welcome. I took you got to the top of the mountain. I took you to the peak. You stood overlooking everybody with me.
And if J-Dub can fulfill his true promise, I will accept the credit for helping him be the best version of himself. J-Dub,
I'm extraordinary.
I am issuing this challenge. J-Dub, get 1% better every day and thank me later.
You're just like the modern day. You're the resurrected Kobe Bryant. You're challenging J-Dub to be better. And get in that Dietrich dogma in your brain. It's like the Mamba mentality, but it's words, not actions. That's right. And listen, when we get together in the war room, in the lab, and put together this list next year, and J-Dub makes the list, you know who to thank.
And I will accept that credit, but I don't even need it. I don't even need it because I know.
That's right.
The last part of the top 30 list, I'm going to let you, assume the floor here, Andrew, as the Knicks expert. A lot of heat from your fellow devotees about Karl Anthony Towns being ranked ahead of El Capitan, the living embodiment, the soul of the Knicks.
Flying in the face of short kings everywhere, because people mistake me for Jaylen Brown all the time because we're the same size.
It be your own.
That's right. And not by much, but I've stood my ground, and I think Karl Anthony Towns is slightly more valuable and a better player than Jalen Brunson. I'm not saying he has more memorable moments. Woo! Those late game heroics from Jaylen Brown are things that are stuck in my brain.
Jalen Brunson, not Jaylen Brown. I don't know what you're talking about.
The player who can dribble with both hands.
Oh, yes.
But Jalen Brunson should be the face of the Knicks. He is lovable. His father has played in MSG. There is a story there that is amazing. But we should not forget. What?
Sure, I just like the Rick Brunson story. It's like Rick Brunson. And I'm like, he was the guy who's weirdly usurped control of the organization.
But born to be a Knick, right? Like, yes. Karl Anthony Towns was a New Yorker, but not born to be a Knick. His trade to New York was kind of predicted, but delightfully surprising. Yes, Brunson signing here, they're like, oh, okay, we got to punish you guys because this was written on the walls. Shout out to Nas. But
yeah, the Karl Anthony Towns one was more Worldwide West and Kentucky connections than it was even the fact that he's from the tri-state.
And it was rumored for years that they were building up to it. So when they did it, it was nice because of the Worldwide West connection, but not because he had that Knicks blood coursing through his blue and orange veins. Yeah.
What's funny is, just as a brief aside, the Knicks moves have really been telegraphed across the board. Mikal Bridges even as well.
Yeah.
OG. We heard about them wanting OG for 4 years, and then they went and got OG. Karl Anthony Towns, that's what I'm saying. These things were discussed, and then it happened. So now I'm like, I guess Devin Booker is coming to the Knicks, because that's another guy that Knicks fans have been infatuated with. So I presume Devin Booker is going to be on the Knicks at some point.
And that's a nice detail on you. Good job, because number 13 is Karl Anthony Towns. Number 14 is Devin Booker, and number 15 is Jalen Brunson. And my quick
list!
What chef's kiss,
verified.
Capellini. Eric Adams is good job, fellas. Thank you, Eric. But quickly, why Karl Anthony Towns I think is slightly more valuable and better than Jalen Brunson is just because of the things he can do and his size. I love Jalen Brunson, but he is a ball stopper. The Indiana Pacers, who are a wonderful, awesome, excellent basketball team that I enjoy watching, solved the Knicks by making Brunson play hero ball. And it was by a small margin. It went to Game 7, but they're like, if you have this slightly slower processing point guard controlling your possessions, we have a better chance than you stretching with Karl Anthony Towns or using his size to get to the line in an ugly way. Because he is the uglier but more dangerous weapon. And he doesn't make people write beautiful words about basketball because he's a lumbering big who probably angers people who call him a foul baiter or whatever, the Brunson stuff. But Brunson is the more enigmatic and romantic player, right? He is a ball handler. He's a whirling dervish. He's got wiggle. Towns doesn't really do any of that. But what Towns does on the court that's backed up by his numbers is slightly more valuable and more effective than what Brunson does only on the court.
Well, I mean, there have been some words written about Towns and the public policing of his joy and the homophobia expressed towards a guy who is not by any purposes a gay man, but has effeminate characteristics and has some viral clips where his voice sounds funny or his mannerisms are effete. Right. So I think even amongst people who would not be categorized as homophobic, don't necessarily love the idea of him being the best player on the Knicks. So this is the guy who
look
is the
at me
face
being
of the
inclusive.
franchise.
Am I the hero here? I'm not homophobic.
You are the only non-homophobic Knicks fan out there. It's just
look at my courage now. It's amazing.
I mean, we both express our bravery in different ways. But I mean, Karl Anthony Towns is a guy who put up 24 a game, 13 rebounds, 3 assists.
What did he shoot from three last season?
Hyper efficient. Shot 42% from 3 on wild volume. True shooting percentage of 63%. I mean, he is just very good. a staggeringly good offensive weapon. Yeah. The team was significantly better with him on the court, and that was with him not necessarily being used in optimal lineups, which is, I think, one of the reasons that Coach Thibs no longer has a job.
Exactly.
He wasn't able to be used as a power forward next to elite defensive big, Mitchell Robinson, and he also wasn't in lineups that were 5 out because Josh Hart struggles to have any gravity along the perimeter. Good player, but that is not one of his strengths. Yeah. So Karl Anthony Towns was able to make the team better, was able to put up insane offensive numbers, and didn't really have a chance to be protected defensively in the way that he was on Minnesota. Like, we know that Towns is not a great defender in space, but with Gobert, the Timberwolves had the first or second best defense in the league, and the Knicks did not afford him that opportunity. But again, I think part of the reason that people do not like him being the best player on the Knicks is because he's kind of goofy.
I love goofy people.
Brunson's stoic. He's serious. Brunson's what you want. Oh, the coach's son, the floor slapper, the panderer. Yeah, and Brunson's persona doesn't really make me that interested in what he has to say on his pod or whatever. He is a skilled diplomat in the NBA setting. There's no mistake that Mike Brown during media day, his most quoted, which is today, remarks,
right? That's for different teams, but the Knicks already had theirs.
Oh, right. Yes, you're correct. They had theirs a few days ago, and then I think today is the official NBA media day.
Yeah, because Mike Brown was talking about using Karl Anthony Towns in wiser ways. No shots fired at Tibbs at all, but he was like, we're probably going to pair him with Mitchell Robinson. We're going to move him all over the court. He's not just going to run into the corner. We're going to run more offensive plays through him and maybe take Brunson off ball. And this was like music to my Indiana Pacers series ears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing if Mike Brown can institute some of the Sabonis style dribble handoff moves, because those were really effective, and Cat is even bigger than Sabonis.
Yeah.
And he's also able to run those kind of motions from 30 feet away from the basket and then just turn and chuck up a 3 at 42%, where Sabonis can't do that stuff. But he's probably going to foul out of a couple games in like the second quarter, because him as an offensive screener is very prone to getting called for cheap fouls. So I think there'll be a learning curve, but that's one thing I am interested in seeing is like, can they turn Cat into a more diverse, system-oriented player than just every now and then it's his turn to try to go score?
Yeah, and I think like just eye test wise, the degree of difficulty he has to be effective looks very different than the degree of difficulty Brunson exerts to be effective. Brunson, the words magic, sorcery come up because they're like, I didn't like it, and then I loved it. It's like, what is he doing? Oh, he's doing it. It like defies logic in a way. Cat doesn't defy logic. Cat shoots up set shots. Cat does big man stuff. Cat is annoying. He gets to the line. He hits his free throws. There is no sorcery. There is no poetry in his visual.
He has 2 things, maybe 3. As you said, he chucks up a long 3. he straight line rumbles to the basket where he either scores or draws a foul, or he posts up and shoulders someone a few times and then kind of gets near to the basket and takes a shot.
Do it over
Brunson,
and over and over.
as you said, is magical. He is a 6-foot guy who is able to play off of 2 feet in the paint.
Insane
with
skill.
Patience, and he ends up taking these difficult shots, and they just keep going in over and over and over.
Amazing.
And watching it live is sensational.
Yeah. He's a
like
top
the
15 player. Yeah.
Brunson on a heater in the fourth quarter, and you're in the Garden. It's
you were there. That's right.
It's incredible. It's an incredible experience.
Yeah.
But he's also a defensive liability, and he's small.
Yeah. And I am courageous. And when I'm at the Garden, seeing Towns, hunt for those free throws and hitting them at 80%, I think that's magical. That's bravery, Ben.
I wanted to say your takes on this episode have been courageous, but also gallant.
Yeah,
as
thank
well.
you. If Brunson is better next year and wins MVP, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I just think that I didn't know this about you, but it's kind of clear that you are 4% Viking.
Oh yeah, wait. All of a sudden, I'm buying all this Viking stuff. How did this? I'm voting for Vikings now. They're passing Viking laws. How did they know I was 4% Viking?
Who got this information?
Yeah, where did they get this data?
Why do I keep being advertised helmets with horns on the side? What's this about? I don't need a funeral pyre.
Wait, my shoes have animal fur on them? How did this happen?
Oh, another discounted flight to Iceland, huh?
I'm wearing a woolly mammoth underwear boxers with no pants? This is crazy. Was that 20 information I said to the internet?
Speaking of the internet, there's also another list on the Instagram page. Cookies Hoops Top 30 Defense.
Wow.
This one a little less controversial, but I want to just make sure equally validated. It has been proven correct since its release yesterday. It is authenticated as valid.
There's a lot of Grizz on this talking about animal fur. There's a lot of Grizzlies on this list. Not Grizzlies.
There's a lot of Grizzlies. Well, there's a couple. There's
talking about Thor.
There's a Grizzly on the list, and that's Triple J, who is highly ranked correctly. But too many Thunder. Well, let's talk about that in a second, because I just feel like we've talked a lot of Thunder. But we'll get back to that group. One cause of a slight uptick in critiques was Mobley, the reigning DPOY, yet ranked 10th amongst the defensive players.
After Caruso, Davis, right?
But the DPOI, how can he be ranked 10th? Do you have an explanation for that, Andrew?
And I would have had him higher. But, this is a collaborative effort, and I co-sign for him that late. I think he has a lot of statistics that attribute to his status as a DPOY. He accrues a lot of blocks. He pulls down a lot of rebounds. But as we saw in the playoffs, he is somewhat spry. He's got a wet noodle body type. And given the matchup, you can neutralize his finesse skill, his wiggle, his defensive wiggle a bit. Still wonderful. There's no slouch in being a Cookies Hoops top 10 defender. That is no slouch at all. That is not a slight.
And Evan should be proud of a top 10 spot.
That's right. You're welcome, Evan.
Yes, you got the DPOY. That's nice. That's nice that you have that. It's nice. Congrats. You're top 10 on the Cookies Hoops list, and that's incredible. Yeah. There's majesty to that.
It's not on the Basketball Reference page, their ranks of the Cookies Hoops list. But real hoopers know that this is all you need. You don't need to look at these advanced metrics. It's right here.
No, the ball knowers are aware of the importance of this designation. So my thing on Evan Mobley is that I think he is probably one of the best versions of a defensive prototype that I don't think is as high impact as other defensive prototypes. And what I mean by that is the traditional power forward who can't really play center and duplicate their defensive performance at that position, and is also not a great wing defender who can guard the NBA's crop of scoring threes.
Is that because he's too skinny?
I just think he is a traditional four prototype. And I think Giannis, as excellent a defender as he is, and a fellow DPOI awardee, same deal. Giannis doesn't guard the Tatums and the scoring wings, but he
Giannis
also
is not on this list.
I don't think Giannis deserves to be on this list. I think Giannis has always been an extremely overrated defender because he puts up amazing rebounding stats, and he is excellent at playing the help position from the four. Mm-hmm. I don't think he is a great defender. I think he is a great defensive tool. Giannis could have been on that list. It's possible. But
if he is next year, will be the reason.
But to me, Giannis has always been a hyper overrated defender because he is a good defensive component, not a great defensive player. And I think there is a bit of that in Mobley. I think Mobley is an excellent defender for a prototype that does not have the same impact as a point of attack defender, a wing defender, or a rim protecting center. And during the regular season, I want to believe these stats are correct. I think the Cavs were 5% better on defense. I could be right. When Mobley was off the court. In the playoffs, they were 12 points better when Mobley was off the floor.
Small sample size. And...
exposed.
Sure, but against a good team, against the same team. I want you to paint your impressions a bit with your wide brush as to why Matisse Thybulle is on this list at number 16.
I'm glad you asked. I'm still in the Mobley trenches here, real quick.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So let me correct those numbers. Their defense was 3 points better per 100 possessions with him on the floor during the regular season, but 12 points worse in the playoffs. And the Cavs did not have a long postseason run, but I do think some of his issues as a defender in terms of impact were exposed. He's a Jarrett Allen merchant, is what I'm saying. Anyway,
I mean, it's a good build. He's a good player. Number 10 is no slouch, but Jarrett Allen, who is also on the bubble of this list, them together.
Just too boring to make it. So no offense, Jarrett. We think you're a good player. You're just boring. You're number 30. You're number 31, dog.
Eventually, when they retire his jersey in the Austin Trailblazers arena, we will celebrate by taking a restful nap.
Jarrett Allen, respect you as a player. You're just not interesting enough for the Cookies top 30 defensive list.
And no disrespect to Jarrett Allen, who's like a lovable guy with a cool style. It's just the way he plays is...
And this is my thing with Giannis's defense, and I don't even think this is necessarily true with Mobley, is that Giannis spends so much of his time on defense doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between guys like that who are great components in the system versus a Draymond Green. Draymond Green is just all over the court all the time, making shit happen, whether he's switching.
The best defender I've ever seen.
There's just a difference between guys like him and like, hey, I'm tall and athletic and I can block some shots. I'm a good help defender. Great. Look at what Draymond's doing on the average possession.
Yeah.
He's directing everyone around. He's switching here. He's creating a deflection, a steal, a block. He's meeting someone at the rim out of the blue because he read the play as it was occurring. Giannis spends most of his time kind of dicking around. He just stands there, and every now and then he runs to the lane and puts his hands up like an Archaeopteryx.
Right, and big pause, it depends on how you're dicking around, right? Because one would claim they see Wembanyama footage or Rudy Gobert footage, number 1 and 5 respectfully, on the Cookies Hoops list of defenders, and say like, well, they're not doing much more than Giannis are, but you guys have them as number 1 and 5. but it's how they're dicking around. It's the motion of their dicking that matters.
And this dicking occurring from a 5 versus a 4 who can't really play the 5. There's just an impact difference there in the dicking.
Sometimes you look at the dicking and you're like, I don't even want to mess with this. And dudes will dribble the ball up to Wembayana and be like, I'm not dicking with that.
No, sirree, Bob. No dicking
watch.
Around here. No.
Yeah.
So back to your thigh bowl question. I'm glad we got the dicking conversation out. The thigh bowl conversation. So thigh bowl, I'm going to estimate he played about 400 minutes last year, and that may be a little bit optimistic. I don't. He was injured with kind of a weird ankle injury that took up like 80% of the season. He played in 15 games.
Or they said he had an ankle injury and they're like, we don't want to play him in certain situations.
I don't know what the deal was. Like, did he get suspended for using hallucinogenics and we just didn't hear about it? Like, I mean, it's weird to miss.
Was he huffing paint?
Well, it's just weird to miss 65 games with an ankle injury.
I agree.
It's just that.
Was he benched? Happen. Were they like, he is a bench? He's not in our rotation.
So he played 300 minutes last year, 300, and per 36 minutes, he averaged 4 steals. I mean, he is just remarkable. And I know Dyson Daniels, who also is highly ranked, I think he's number 2 on the list, is the only guy in the league, in my opinion, who is better than Matisse Thybulle at causing chaos on the perimeter, deflections, blocks, steals.
Come on, Reed Shepherd, do your thing.
Just being a total pain in terms of creating havoc. I know Matisse Thybulle hasn't done that in a while because of his injury, but he can. So we have proof of concept. I just think he's going to be healthy. And I actually think he's going to be traded to a team like the Lakers, a team that needs an impact defensive player when you're looking at who you're going to have to play in the West. There's no real reason for him to be part of Portland's future. I believe his contract is up after this season. So I think we'll see a healthy Thybulle, ideally, on a contender in a meaningful, probably, 6th, 7th man defensive role, which will validate this correct list that we have created here.
Yeah, the team that picks him up will thank us. Like, thank you, Cookie Soups, for letting us have Matisse Thybulle on our roster.
I mean, to be honest, like, he should be a target because I bet Portland gives him up for 2 second-rounders right now.
Well, they uncovered Tamani Kamara, who is a number 21 ranked player on this Cookies All Defensive list. So he kind of like softens that blow of maybe Thybulle getting suspended or not being a good enough shooter, and he's actually a fine shooter from the corner. He is one of those interesting players where not only did certain nerds, kind of deflate at Ben Simmons' injuries, because the interesting part of Simmons is like the minute he's healthy, he's incredible. And Thybulle was so lauded for his unusual defensive instincts and broken down on YouTube so well, being like letting his defender go by him and playing defense from the back of the defender, swiping the ball away, like rope-a-doping ball handlers, and also being big and having good instincts of where to stand and where to anticipate movements and gravity. A really unique one-of-one defender that was undoubtedly effective, but then had a kind of uneven few years where we weren't able to see him do his thing. And the confusion was, he is so good at this thing. Are we not valuing defense because we're just playing generic offensive players instead of him? Like, he offers so much in a game that you just have to play him 20 minutes. Like, this dude is important. I don't know why he doesn't play more.
And my theory was that Doc Rivers was punishing him for not getting vaccinated, which made him ineligible for some games in Toronto. And I think Doc Rivers put him in his doghouse and was like, I'm not playing this guy. He's not down with the cause. He's not getting vaxxed. And he just stopped playing him. He just would not put him on the court. And then Philly ends up trading him in an absolutely worthless deal to get not Jaden McDaniels, who is on the cookies list, but Jalen McDaniels, his brother, who Philly did not retain. So they just gave Thibault away for nothing. And Doc Rivers wouldn't play him. So my thing with Matisse Thybulle, I think this applies to not Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons could never shoot despite being a wonderful player, but guys like Josh Giddey, where there's this reputation that they can't shoot and it just never goes away. Matisse Thybulle was never a absolutely horrific shooter. He was kind of bad, and then over time he improved because, as we inspired him to do, he got 1% better every day. But Matisse Thybulle, this is a guy who shot 36% over his last 3,000 minutes or something like that. He's a league average 3-point shooter on a reasonable volume. He shot like 43% from three last season. Like, the idea that he can't shoot, it's just not true. He's a limited offensive player, but he can shoot.
Now, we've done 2 legendary lists so far this week, and there's more to come. Furiously working in the Cookie Soups lab. One that we scrapped, though, the Chat GPT top 30 users in the NBA. Not to spoil what we had that we scrapped, but Gary Payton was one of them. That Gary Payton talk. JJ Redick. I wish we had published it, because he comes out. He was our number 1, but he comes out and says he logs on to Chat GPT for an hour and a half every day, because who needs friends?
Well, the thing about JJ Redick, and you may not know this, but I knew this, and it's one of the reasons he was so high on our NBA's greatest Chat GPT users list, was that he has a general curiosity, and he likes going down a rabbit hole.
That's learning about rabbits.
I don't know if you knew about that, his general curiosity.
Well, he's a scholar. He's a coach and a specialist, but he's also a businessman, and his business is being scholarly and learning about everything. Like, what do you think he's asking Chat GPT?
Well, before I tell you the answer to that, I think you're being a little bit humble on behalf of us. What JJ Redick is a podcaster. At his root, I think what informs JJ Redick is that he likes making pods. Not pods on the Golden State Warriors. Different pods.
Right.
Perfect
that
pods,
was our
maybe
top pods, top 30 pods in the NBA. Pashevsky was the one, sadly.
The only pods that matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, so JJ spending an hour. And when he says an hour, I'm interpreting that as 2 hours.
Wow. So it's like, I only had 3 beers last night. It's like, okay, so you had 7 beers.
Exactly. Yeah, I spent like an hour talking to Chat GPT. Like, really?
Do you think he's asking Chat GPT questions about his own Architectural Digest episode? It's like, what is JJ Redick's favorite room in his Architectural Digest YouTube? It's like, your living room. He's like, you, Chat GPT, what would I do without you?
What material and what color and what reflective metallic hue was my toilet? Gold? That's wild that you know that, my friend.
Did I have an arm that wasn't a tattoo sleeve before I had a tattoo sleeve? I did. You're right again.
Is this about Maroon 5?
Yeah.
Chat.
Do you think he still lives in Dumbo?
I feel like he must have sold the place, right?
Right, because rich people get bored, right? And he doesn't want to spend $250 a day on Ubers. So he probably sold that customized, beautiful Dumbo loft that's been featured on the internet. And he's probably picked up and moved to LA.
But sadly, his house burned down in the fires 2 years ago.
That's right. But his secondary house? His tertiary house? I don't know. We weirdly don't know anyone who's been to his house in New York City.
Yeah, I don't. I think when he was, I think they had really moved into the one in LA though, because he was describing the irreplaceable items he'd lost, and one of which he named was like artwork from his children. I was like, to be honest, that's kind of replaceable. Like, I mean,
not when they're like two. Like,
I know, but you got access to those kids. You got access to crayons. Like, all right, do a new version of that. Like,
wait, say crayons.
There's crayons.
Crayons.
There's an unlimited reservoir of your own children's artwork in the Redick household. That's all I'm saying.
I guess so. They grow up real fast, but I hear what you're saying, child hater. But back to basketball. Is he trying to tell us he's like smart or dumb? Because if you ran into me and I was like, yo, man, I've been on Chat GPT for 2 hours, you'd be like, the fuck? Right? Like, that's not a good thing. It's just like, what? Read a book. Read Hillbilly Elegy again. Like, you don't have to be on Chat GPT for 2-3 hours a day.
I viewed it as JJ Redick has confided in us that he is softening his brain. That he is using Chat GPT and deteriorating in front of us proudly. I'm not even. Yeah, I'm pretty anti Chat GPT, but
I'm not. So this is a good conversation. It's okay. But
when I have used it, I feel like you can sense it sending its tentacles into your brain and making you stupider. So I would not be that comfortable with a coach who says, "Yeah, I'm constantly on Chat GPT." I'm like, that doesn't seem good. You're going to be on the sideline with a friend dangling around your neck.
Right.
With Netanyahu listening to every move on behalf of the Sixers that JJ Redick is making.
Like with everything like books and music and screens, I want to know what he's like. Is he asking ChatGPT if math is discovered or invented? Or is he saying, is Vivek Ranadive going to hire me for more money? Like, what is he asking ChatGPT?
This is true, right? Because he could be just doing real dorky dude shit where he's like, tell me about the Roman Empire. Really?
Tell me about Thor. Were the Vikings dope?
You think I'm 4% Viking?
Where's my information going though?
Right. So I'm saying he could be just going down the historical wormhole on some dweeb shit. Or he's like,
JJ Redick hot or not?
Or is he like, ChatGPT is my therapist and my best friend and my lover
and my jeweler. But like, I want to know more, right? Like, okay, challenge accepted, JJ. I want to have this ChatGPT discussion with you. What are you searching?
Let's see the logs.
Right. And if you somehow ruin this season, this Lakers opportunity to win a championship with a poorly conceived coaching idea, is it your fault? Or is it an aggregated error by all of us? Are we taking the blame for your downfall?
The language model fucked up our defense.
Cookies Hoop should not have released their top 30 lists because he's not playing anyone who isn't on that top 30 list.
I got to say, when there was a website where you could look up all the source material that Chat GPT and these language learning models were getting their information from. And you could look up books. Looked up The Joy of Basketball. It's on there. So that is one redeeming quality about these books, is they have absorbed the intense knowledge that was expressed in The Joy of Basketball. So that at least is a redeeming factor. And maybe Redick is mining ChatGPT for the wisdom of The Joy of Basketball.
He's like, I'm not reading that big ass book. I am not touching the genius of those pages. Just tell me the gist of it. I'm a specialist. Oh, I'm a floor slapper.
I'm an obsolete unitasker. God damn it. Yeah, that's what we said, JJ.
All right. Well, we have an hour and 20 minutes left. So what else you want to talk about?
It's like, okay, homie, lover, friend.
Yeah. Is he being all Nick Nurse? Is he like, ChatGPT, do you miss me? Do you want to look at my feet? Is he doing that stuff? Like, is he telling us he's a perv?
I think, again, I just got to go back. He's telling us that he's losing brain power
Right.
on a daily basis by an hour or more.
Right. It's like Mark Wahlberg being like, I don't sleep, I meditate. It's like, well, no, this guy.
It's like JJ's like, all right, guys, super sick announcement. I have Alzheimer's.
Oh my God. Guys, I've run out of ideas, but thankfully I have an aggregated resource for these ideas.
And it's riddled with errors.
Yeah. Like where...
Completely untrustworthy. Anything that I'm reading must be double and triple checked. It's creating these digital figments and incorrect illusions. I love it. I love it. It's really going to change the way I coach.
But super horny. Super horny. Keith Van Horny. He's going through the Chat GPT. Tell me all about Keith Van Horn's career. I'll sit back and listen for an hour and a half. Horn dog.
In other news, the injury bug has already struck. We're in training camp, but we haven't even started the preseason. Players are dropping like flies. Which injury, out of several, has got you the most down?
I would say all of them. McCain, like they're happening to players that we really wanted to see come into their own. Edie, McCain. I thought Durant on the Rockets was going to be a delicious thing to watch for the first few months, and that involves Fred VanVleet. Scoot Henderson, this was the time for him to reveal himself as an NBA star. Now it seems like the challenges are not as interesting.
Yeah, I think having injuries occur to players like CJ McCollum would have been nice. Guys who I have less interest in watching, or am less excited about watching in the 2026 season. CJ McCollum currently walking around unharmed, negotiating on behalf of the players, while a lovely character like Jared McCain, who I was excited to watch, is sidelined probably for several months.
McCain is a specific example where he did it to himself. You got to bench press more than 2.5 pounds if you want that NBA body.
It was funny because he was definitely trolling with that photo and then hurt his hand.
Yeah. I was telling you, he's been breaking basketball card packs online all summer. I was like, man, he should be resting those hands. Lo and behold.
Was he breaking those packs just to show off his fingernail paint?
They were definitely painted. And you know who seems like an awesome dude? Jared McCain. Like, he was just doing super boring stuff, basically gambling online. And I'm like, this guy is totally fun and chill and nice.
And when he was doing little sort of media sessions at various points as like a sideline reporter or showing up to events, yeah, he genuinely seems charming. I thought he was probably a lock for Rookie of the Year last season based on how he started the season.
Agreed.
Unclear if he would have kept it up or Castle would have surpassed him. Like, it just didn't happen because he played like 20 games or something. But he looked really promising. And I think for Philly, him being hurt, it doesn't change the outlook for the team, in my opinion, but it definitely changes their watchability.
Is the Quentin Grimes camp telling Morey to back up the Brinks truck?
Apparently, they've been telling him to do that for
25
months.
Yep.
And Morey is a guy who, when he has leverage over a player, is pretty ruthless in exercising it. And I think that's what happened with James Harden when he used his influence to get James Harden to take a deal. And then, in James Harden's opinion, backed off on that offer. But who knows where ownership steps into this. But Morey has been a tough negotiator when players don't have a lot of options, which I'm not saying is praise or criticism. It's just something he's historically done. And Philly is clearly squeezing Quentin Grimes here. They're offering him, according to reports, like under 10 a year, which is like basically the like qualifying offer for a player of that caliber.
I think he should be worth more. I think his camp should be asking for 25 as they are. But, like, is he a 10, 11, $12 million player? Like, he might be, right? Like, I think he's good. I was sad when the Knicks dealt him. Then I was surprised to see multiple teams kind of giving up on him because his skill set is useful in the modern NBA. Obviously, he balled out on a bad team. His camp knows that. He's not, but they're not dumb. They want to leverage from a high point. Does he have more power after the McCain injury, or do you stand at 10?
I mean, it seems to me in everyone's interest to find a common ground somewhere. Mm-hmm. I think him taking the qualifying offer works for no one. Mm-hmm. And I also am skeptical that Quentin Grimes actually wants to be in Philly long term. He wants to get paid, but do you want to be in the backcourt with Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Jared McCain? There's only so many spots there. He's not a 3. He really is a 1 or 2. When you're talking about
Did
4
VJ
players,
play the 3?
I don't think he should. It's possible,
Yeah.
but
He's big.
But you also currently have Paul George under contract for 3 more years, who should be playing the 3 and not the 4. So if I'm if I'm Grimes, I'm like, I want to get paid, but then I sort of also want to go somewhere else. But
he's gonna be a king. He's gonna
and this is why, not to rehash the Jalen Williams conversation, but in Philly, Quentin Grimes was one of those like 21 5-5 guys who actually was more efficient at scoring. So that's what I mean. There's a lot of these guys that, I do not think Quentin Grimes deserves $40 million a year like J-Dub got. Right. But that category of player, like, oh, you hit 20, 5-5, you're contributing a bit, but not really doing anything incredible. It's just a lot of them. There's probably 40 guys in the league that are scoring 20 points a game at this point.
Which makes me want to segue, and I'm going to be so annoying about this player all year.
Yes.
Reed Sheppard, man. I think he's an instant top NBA caliber point guard. And, Fred VanVleet goes down, the real hip-hop god. There's no one visually more real hip-hop than Fred VanVleet. We have bought his records at Fat Beats since the early 90s, right? He is a throwback New Yorker if I've ever seen one visually. But him going down was a mixed bag. Sad to see that injury for a player who's valuable to their team, who knows what they're doing. A short king. But then Reed Sheppard, somehow taller than Fred VanVleet. Number 3 overall pick, man. This dude shot over 50% from 3 in college. He is good.
A lot of people never believed in Reed Sheppard. And one of the few people was you. And when he was taken 3rd in the draft, you stood up.
Why so low?
You stood up and said, this guy is going to be a good pro. I know he slipped in the draft to the 3rd overall spot, but he can hoop.
Haters.
He is a player, and we, as in Andrew Quo and Reed Sheppard, are going to prove you wrong.
Yeah. Only Reed Sheppard and I believed in Reed Sheppard, and that's on the record. That's proof from the draft. You let him go to 3. Get out of here.
And the Rockets, for example, they took him 3rd overall and then parked his ass in the G League. They did not believe in him. They took him 3rd overall.
That's right.
Almost a thumb in the eye to you and Reed.
Yeah, I was offended, and Reed was offended. And those are the only 2 people because everyone doubts us. But this season is going to be the time. Because not only in every scenario, in 2 scenarios, he's going to be effective. Either he dominates the ball, brings it up, he's a good passer, very good shooter, very good defender for his size, which is bigger than VanVleet, or they run the offense through Amen, maybe some KD, and Reed Sheppard just sits in the corner and hits those threes.
I think that makes the most sense out of the options that the Rockets have, because there's too much riding on this season with the commitment to KD and his age, and you have talent like KD and Şengün, who's a pretty good passer. You can't really say
Reed's not a liability. Like, you don't have to risk anything with him. He's good.
No, I meant that losing VanVleet does change the chemistry of how you're going to approach things, because he's a very low turnover, 3-point shooting small guard who can play defense. And on that team, all those qualifications were really good next to people like Şengün and KD. He wasn't as good of a shooter as Reed Shepherd, and that's an upgrade. Like, VanVleet's a little scattershot. He's streaky. But the fact that he's good defender and low turnover were really good for that team. And just a smart player, reliable with the ball. And it's tough to trust Reed Shepherd with that role. I think you can trust Reed Shepherd to knock down shots, to make the right passes, to space the floor. But when you've got KD and Şengün, there is a hierarchy that's not like, okay, Reed, you run the show. VanVleet had that. He's won a title. He's a veteran. You know, he has some gravitas that allows him to take that role. I'm not sure KD and Şengün are like, yeah, well, you run the show, Reed. I think it will be more of a communal effort at facilitation with Aman and Şengün and KD, because collectively they are all excellent passers, with Reed kind of taking a ball handling role that's probably more, as you alluded to, being a floor spacing shooter.
Yeah, and he's no slouch with the ball. I mean, VanVleet's turnover rate is awesome. Not to be a businessman about this, I think that's a blow to Houston, because VanVleet was a valuable trade piece. I think many teams would have wanted to inquire about him, and it was time for Reed to play. You don't take a player third overall and sit him for this long, especially one this easily adaptable. So
you do if you don't believe in him in the way that you do.
Only me. I'm one of one. One of two. Reed Shepherd being the other. But I thought they were going to play VanVleet and deal him, and then insert Reed into various roles that aren't VanVleet's role, to your point. And then that kind of takes that option away. And these injuries are a bummer, because all of a sudden we're looking at the Grizzlies maybe punting this season. Like, their entire front court is decimated. Santi Aldama is going to have to do work. Not what we expected when they drafted Edey, disappointing, just really disappointing.
Yeah, I'm really annoyed by the injury bug in Memphis, because I think that's an interesting team. I want to see Tom of Finland's version of
Tom of Finland. It's a very edgy art reference.
He's a very edgy coach.
That's right.
And him bringing in Ty Jerome, who I think is like an intriguing player as a replacement for Bane. I don't know.
You love Ty Jerome.
Well, it's more that I want to see how it works out. I don't.
Right.
I don't know what's up with Ty Jerome. I can't say you believe in him like I do, but I want to see how he works in this system. I mean, because he's a strange player.
He was good at times last year and not good at times last year.
This is what I mean. I'm like, is he secretly a superstar that has been hidden, or is he just kind of a role player who went on a heater for a couple months and that boosted up all of his stats, and then he went insanely cold and was pretty terrible in some big games in the postseason? Yeah. So I think I just wanted to see that. I want to see Ja. He's an exciting, fun player. Ty Jerome, that's interesting. Edey's interesting. Triple J is cool. They have a lot of some of the guys they drafted, some of the young guys, and it's like, we're just not going to see that. This is a team without a front court, and now it's reliant on some undersized guards who aren't really good defenders. I'm like, this just isn't going to work with Triple J out and Edey out. And I think even Brandon Clark is hurt too. So
yeah,
hopefully they will be an intact team a month into the season, but who knows?
Should have been lifting more than 2.5 pounds. And then the last player, which I'm whiffing on right now, there's one more injury. Scoot. Trailblazers, it was his time, right? Like, Scoot at certain glimpses last year showed that, I don't know, he's kind of reckless and he's kind of very fun to watch, but maybe doesn't fall in the lines of like a dependable guard, but as an explosive offensive piece, he was going to be a fan favorite a little bit. And having him going down with this injury is, I don't know. I don't want to say it kind of pushes him into the category of having a much lower ceiling, but he has not been good enough for long enough for us to project him to be what he was promised.
Yeah, Scoot's one of those guys where you see some indicators of improvement where you just want to see where it goes, right? It's like
Just
him
want to see
going
him.
from
Yeah.
32.5% from three to 35.4.
Yeah.
On 2-pointers, him going from 42% to 47%. And I'm not to say that this is all about metrics, but like he went from 49% overall scoring efficiency, which sucks, to 54, which is like still not good, but that's a huge improvement. And
Yeah.
I think a player who I remember early in their career made those kind of year-by-year jumps with someone like Jeremy Grant. I know that's a weird thing to be like, maybe he can be like Jeremy Grant, but it's interesting when you see a player start making these little leaps and then they end up turning into a good player. And Jeremy Grant is not an awesome player by any means, but I remember watching him on Philly, and when they traded him, I was annoyed because I said, this guy's making some steps, and I think it could go somewhere. So Scoot finally having a chance to not have Dame around, to not be in the shadow of Anthony Simons, who's a chucker, to sort of have this opportunity to see if he has another jump. Because if Scoot can go from, oh, wait, now he's above average efficiency, well, then we're talking about a different player. And we're talking about a different threshold for how good he can be, because he's still a really young guy.
And like, yeah, the promise of him being efficient was always muted, but I think the fun with him was his aggressiveness, his Kobe, his Leroy Jenkins being like, I'm doing this. I'm fast, I am athletic, and I don't care. And that's super fun, right? It's a little more of a version of Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas also has that, and there's a prototype of player like Malik Monk that we know and talk about quite a bit. But Scoot kind of had a different flair to him that I was interested in seeing. Like, if he was on my team, I'd be weary a bit because of his inefficiencies. But as an onlooker and just a fan of basketball, like, that's a character I was interested in seeing.
Yeah, I just feel like the third season for young guys is often when you see if they can make that kind of jump.
I know.
And I think he was going to have an opportunity with some pretty interesting teammates on that team. And maybe we wouldn't have fallen asleep when the Blazers were on. And I'm not talking about them having an 11 o'clock tip-off. I'm talking about being an intensely boring organization.
Yeah, I wanted someone to swap out that sleepy time herbal for some English breakfast.
But I mean, honestly, it's very shameful for me to admit. I was kind of looking forward to watching a team with Scoot, Shaedon Sharp,
Kamara,
Avdia, Matisse, Thibault,
they
elite
had
on the cookies list.
Yeah,
but also young, handsome. Like, that team was cool.
They shed Ayton. They shed like their boring player. Like towards the end, their defense was awesome and good enough for a gunner of a point guard to kind of do their. Yeah, it was one of the league pass teams for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, Jeremy Grant was on my mind because he's a guy that team needs to get rid of and can't.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
They got tricked into giving him a big contract.
Shout out to Jeremy Grant. You know who didn't get tricked?
You know who's never tricked?
Never tricked once.
Cookies.
I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies.